Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a video on Brumation in reptiles. So as you can see by the title of this video, this title of the video is called Brumation in Reptiles, What, Where and When, How to Brumate Your Reptiles Safely and Effectively. So I'm going to go through what is brumation, where brumation happens, when brumation happens, and how to brumate your reptiles safely and effectively. So that's what I'm going to explain in today's video. Now, a few things I want to say before we go on the start video and talk about information. I want to say the research and all the information I'm going to say is probably not going to be mine at all, because I've only brumated venom breeding twice, for 2 weeks last year, and then this year I think venom's going to go brumation for a few years, not a few years, a few months I mean, but like proper brumation since she's older, because she's 2 years old now. As you can see with the blanket here, it's going to wrap down to her room. That's where she is in her burrow / hide. She have it all dark there so she can brumate and sink safely. Which that won't be showing much of me or Venom because she's brumating, so I can't really show her. So I'm just going to be showing pictures really, and yeah, just pictures kind of, and information of editing clip from the future. I did actually forget to say this in the video clip that I did. But most of the different information is kind of mostly bearded dragon related, because it's actually shown on screen now. If you search reptile brumation, bearded dragons are most likely to come up. So yeah, that's what I feel like. Even though I only have near like about 2 years, kind of, well, not one and a half, kind of, I'll say that. But even, I kind of have that much research on, I know about kind of knowledge, experience of brumation. But that's why I made this video, because it's mostly with bearded dragons that brumate most commonly I should say. But that's why I thought it was okay to research this video and think that I'm eligible to make a video like this that I can. So yeah. Now back on. I'm gonna stop talking now so you can enjoy the rest of the video. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the video, and yeah, don't forget to give it a like. We'll have the articles and research information at the end of the video, and also in the link in the description. I'm going to put like stamp cards or whatever kind of labels kind of at the different numbers and times of the video where I talk about different topics and what research article I used for that information, so you can go back and see. So which means, because I brumated, as I said, because I brumated venom twice, I don't really know much about information, only the basics. Which I want to go more than the basics. I want to give you the best information I can possible. So this is why I'm going to use a few articles that with this video. So yeah, let's get on to that now, and let's explain what brumation is, how brumation happens, and when it happens, and how to brumate your reptile safely and effectively. Most reptile owners are likely aware of the fact that all reptiles and amphibians are ectothermic, cold-blooded animals, relying on their environment for thermoregulation. That said, these animals have evolved and adapted incredible survival strategies to ensure survival when environmental conditions become unsatisfactory. One such adaptation is brumation. Brumation is a term used for the hibernation-like state that cold-blooded animals utilize during very cold weather. Brumation will also depend on the reptile's particular species, age, gender, and geographical location. For instance, reptiles living near or close to the equator do not typically brumate as long as those living in the area with more seasonal climate variation. On the other end of the spectrum is a state known as Aestivation, which, like brumation, provides a way for reptiles to handle temperatures in extreme cases. However, Aestivation occurs when environmental temperatures become too high for the healthy physiological function to occur. This is beyond the scope of this video, and there is little to no chance of Aestivation happening in captivity. Now to answer the big question, what is brumation? As previously mentioned, brumation can be loosely equated to hibernation among mammals. When a reptile brumates, it comes lethargic, sometimes not move at all for the duration of the cold season. In nature, these animals typically find hibernaculums within their environment in which they can be somewhat insulated. A hibernaculum is simply a place where the reptile spends these periods of inclement weather, burrows, rocks, crevices, and caves. In captivity, most reptiles will create a burrow or sword-like burrow using whatever they can in their setup or enclosure. As I previously said, reptiles have evolved and adapted incredible survival strategies to ensure survival throughout the months they are in brumation. Most reptiles will use to make a burrow are caves like hides, leaf litter, and if you have that one little nook and cranny in reptile's enclosure, there's a high chance it might brumate there also, with the most common way of brumating, as I said, making a burrow. So why do reptiles brumate, you may ask? Brumation is essential to survival of a particular reptile species because they're incapable of raising their body temperature when the seasonal weather changes. During brumation, reptiles stop eating and their heart and respiratory rates slow significantly, as does their digestion. The suspended animation long periods of inactivity may actually lengthen the lives of these reptiles. In a sense, they are being preserved during the cold weather when they likely would not survive in the cold weather. So what's the difference in brumation in the wild versus a captive reptile in brumation? Reptiles living in the wild are subjected to natural cues to brumate, including hormonal changes, shifts in air pressure, humidity, and the length of the day. There is speculation that pet reptiles living indoors still receive seasonal cues and therefore begin to show signs of brumation despite the controlled climate in which they live. Reptile brumation signs or symptoms. You can tell if a reptile is going to brumation because he or she may have the following symptoms: sleeping more, appetite decreased, going to sleep earlier, or hiding in the shade, pooing less due to eating less. A reptile wanting to brumate will actively refuse food or certainly make any minimal that in conjunction with far more sleeping or going to bed much earlier. Classic signs. At what age do reptiles brumate? You may have heard that reptiles under the age of 1 do not brumate. This is not the case. The urge and want to brumate can happen at any age. It's something internal, stamped in their DNA, a pure survival instinct which all of our reptiles have. The 1-year-old thing was something brought in by exotic vets and experienced keepers, due to the fact that 1-year-old reptile may not have the nutritional reserves to aid getting through the process. Of course, every reptile is different regarding size and weight. So the best course of action is for your reptile if you're under 1-year-old is to take them to a reptile exotic vet for a checkup. They can check fat and nutrition pads, weigh the reptile, and determine if it's safe to allow the brumation period to happen. What do we do when a reptile starts brumating? The first thing I did, and you should do, is get a fecal parasite test done via an exotic vet. If any issues occur in the results, you can get it treated before you have the brumation process along. Once treated and given all clear via the vets, you will start reducing temps over the next couple of weeks, right to the point where there is no heating at all. This can be done by reducing basking hours or even a low orchard pulp to the lower temperatures. You should also offer less food, again to the point of nothing being offered in the final week or so. One of the main reasons for keeping the heat on at this point is to ensure your reptile has had a poo and to digest any more food that hasn't turned into poo already, or hasn't digested already. Anything left in the stomach can rot inside them. This can cause many serious problems. Once the reptile has had its poo in those final days of the temperature reducing routine, turn off the basking bulb and UV and leave them to sleep, as simple as they are. I meant simply as that really, but yeah, that's simple as that. Do I need to leave on the heating and lighting and UV during liberation? In a word, no. Turning off the heat and UV will not harm a healthy reptile at all. In fact, that's exactly what would happen while in the burrow in wild conditions. The burrow keeping them safe from cool conditions on the surface. Most reptiles also block the entrance with dirt. This keeps them safe from predators, or it also means it's very dark 24/7. The heat and UV is what's needed for energy and digestive conversion. To name a few things, but of course, sleeping requires none of this, due to not being active and not eating. We're essentially mimicking a wild burrow using the process I mentioned. The only other thing I would recommend to do, as I did and talked about at the start of the video, is to cover the room or tank's glass with either paper or blanket, so it's nice and dark for them, with also checking on them daily. Can I feed my reptile during brumation? Nope. Due to conditions of brumation, cooler, no heat, no UV, not eating is 100% part of the process. You honestly don't want a reptile with full belly or full of food sleeping for an extended period. This can cause life-threatening issues with the food not digesting properly and rotting within their digestive system. This is also the reason they will naturally avoid food while entering brumation period, as they instinctively know the trouble to a stomach full of food can cause them. So follow the lead on here. Reptile weight loss during brumation. If you follow the steps mentioned at the start, getting the vital vet visit done, the essential fecal test completed due to rule out the parasite's illness, and all is clear, then you should have a healthy reptile entering brumation. A healthy reptile won't lose much weight during this period at all. This is a common statistic among keepers that have experienced brumation in their reptiles. It's generally only if parasites or illness are present that any substantial weight loss occurs. So weigh the reptile once or twice a week. Don't worry, you won't disturb them much at all, just to do it quickly and efficiently. Providing water to your reptile while it's brumating. A small water bowl not big enough to lay in should be available within your setup regardless. Just to be sure to change the water a few times a week, and maybe put this small water bowl a little closer to the reptile, so more central as opposed to in the cool end. The reptile will use it if needed. What happens when a reptile is brumating? We now have the knowledge that hormonal changes take place while sleeping. Cooler temperatures have an effect of sperm production in our male reptiles, and warmer conditions to aid female ovulation on waking, so it serves not only as a survival aid, but also as a vital aid for optimal reproduction conditions. Reptiles after brumation. Then one day when you check on them, you will find them up and about looking at you, or you will hear them from moving around. At this point, I would bathe them or recommend bathing them for a drink stimulation opportunity and turn everything back on he and you be. You can do it in a gradual process, kind of reverse of what you did on shutdown, or just switch it all back on. They should be able to choose exposure levels within the closure regardless, so this option may well take your reptile a few days to get back into routine that they are familiar with. So they may not eat much or all at first, don't worry. So as you resume the routine which they are all used to, all will be back to normal in no time. Feeding your reptile after brumation. As just mentioned, although they may not eat during the first couple of waking days, when they do, they will want all they eat as out of the house and home. But be sensible. Don't let them gouge out. Greens or prey, depending on the species, and hydration should of course be offered too. Over the next few days, all being well, your reptile should start being to normal self again, like nothing has even happened. To conclude, to summarise, brumation is a completely natural thing, so we must do what we can to assist. This is why we turn off the heat and UV lighting to stimulate wild conditions. So that's it for this video on brumation in reptiles. What, when, and how to brumate your reptiles safely and effectively. So I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something a lot. Learned something small or learned a lot, depending on how much you know about brumation. And I hope you enjoyed the video too. Even if you do know all about brumation, just want to watch it for entertainment and see what's my view on it and why knowledge I'm putting out there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. So don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to get notified when I post. Bye.